So what if I told you you could pay less tax each year and also save for your house deposit faster? If that's something you're interested in, then let me show you how in this video. Hey, my name is Raymond, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about all things salary sacrificing. The pros, the cons, what you need to consider before you actually salary sacrifice, and then in the end, we'll also talk about how you can use this methodology to actually save for your house deposit faster through the First Home Super Saver scheme. Okay, so firstly, what is salary sacrificing? Well, essentially, salary sacrificing is essentially an arrangement between your employer and yourself. And it's essentially an agreement where your employer will take your pre-taxable income and in return pay for benefits and provide those benefits to you. Now, these benefits can include a range of things such as a car, a mobile phone, a laptop, or it could be concessional contributions to your superannuation. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in today's video. Okay, so firstly, what are the pros when it comes to salary sacrificing into your superannuation? Now, by far the biggest benefit and the reason why, most people salary sacrifice into their superannuation is because it can allow you to pay less tax each year. And this is because your superannuation is a tax favorable environment because it was designed for, retirement in the future. When you salary sacrifice into your superannuation, you're only ever going to be taxed at 15% as opposed to whatever your marginal tax rate is. Meaning that as your marginal tax rate increases, as your income or salary increases, it's going to become more and more beneficial for you to actually consider salary sacrificing. Okay, so let's just look at a few different examples here to really demonstrate how much extra money you could be saving each and every single year. Now, in the first scenario, let's assume that you're making $80,000 per year, meaning your marginal tax rate is at 32.5%, and you decide to salary sacrifice an additional $5,000 each year into your superannuation. Now, that $5,000 will be taxed at 15%, meaning you'll end up paying $750 in taxes. Now, what do you think is going to happen if we didn't salary sacrifice that $5,000 and just decided to, take it home as take-home pay? Well, in that case, the $5,000 would be taxed at your marginal tax rate of 32.5%, meaning you're going to be paying $1,625 in taxes as opposed to the $750 had you have sacrificed it. So in this scenario, you can see that we're saving an additional $875 or 17.5% each and every single year. Now, in the second scenario, let's imagine that you're actually earning $200,000 per year, meaning your marginal tax rate is at 45%. Once again, if you decide to salary sacrifice $5,000, you're only ever going to be paying that same $750 in tax, because when it comes to superannuation, regardless of what your marginal tax rate is, you're only ever going to be taxed at 15%. But if you decided not to salary sacrifice and instead take that $5,000 as take-home pay, then you're going to be taxed at 45%, meaning you'll be paying $2,250 in taxes as opposed to the $750 had you have sacrificed it. So in this scenario, we can see that we're saving a whopping $1,500 or 30% if we had sacrificed that money. So we can see that from both of these examples that salary sacrificing can help you save more money by paying less tax. And that benefit is only going to increase as your income increases as well. Now, obviously, most of us aren't ever going to be earning over $200,000, but even if you're on a marginal tax rate of 32.5% or even 37%, there's still quite a lot of money that you can save each and every single year if you did salary sacrifice. Now, when it comes to the cons to salary sacrifice, the biggest one is that you're not actually going to be able to touch any money that you put away into your superannuation until you reach what is called your preservation age. Now, the preservation age is essentially the age at which you can begin accessing your super. And depending on when you were actually born, it actually changes as well. But for most of us watching this video, your preservation age is going to be 60. So depending on your age, you could be waiting for over 30 years until you can actually access your super, which could be seen as a good thing or it could be seen as a bad thing. A common argument against salary sacrificing is that people would rather have the liquidity or the choice to do what they want with their money to invest into stocks or save for a house deposit, or perhaps just, pay for a holiday. Okay, so what are some considerations that you should be looking into to decide whether or not you should be salary sacrificing or not? Okay, so the first thing that you should know is that there is actually a cap on how much pre-tax income you can contribute into your superannuation each and every single year. Currently, the cap is at $27,500, and this is made up of both of your own concessional contributions and contributions made on behalf of your employer. It's important to keep track of the total amount that you've actually contributed each and every single year, because any contributions over the $27,500 cap will simply be taxed at your marginal tax rate, meaning you're no longer going to be getting those tax benefits. The second consideration is that if you're going to be earning less than $57,000.16 this year, then you might want to consider salary sacrificing at least $500. Because there is a scheme known as the super co-contribution where the government will actually match up to $500 if you salary sacrifice that into your superannuation. And who doesn't like free money? The last thing to consider is that if you are planning to or currently saving for your first home, then you're most definitely going to want to salary sacrifice into your super. And that brings us to the last part of this video. So the First Home Super Saver scheme allows you to save for your first home inside your superannuation. This will help first home buyers, save for their house deposit quicker because of the tax benefits that you're going to receive that we talked about earlier on in the video. Not only will you be able to reap the tax benefits, but you can actually also withdraw the earnings on those contributions as well. Now, the whole process of the First Home Super Saver scheme is actually quite complex, so I'm going to try and explain it as simply as I can. Now, let's say you were saving for your first home, and over the past 4 years, you've contributed $12,500 each and every single year. So in total, you've actually saved $50,000 in your superannuation, which is actually currently the cap in terms of how much total you can save in your super. In making those concessional contributions, assuming that you were at a marginal tax rate of 32.5%, this means that you've been able to save an additional $8,750 as opposed to saving outside of super. So great, you've been able to save more money and now you're ready to buy your first home. So what you're going to want to do is log into the ATO and request what is called a First Home Super Saver determination. Essentially, what the ATO will then do is calculate how much earnings you've made on all of the contributions that you've made over the past 4 years. You see, you don't just get to withdraw the $50,000, but you get to withdraw the associated earnings as well over that period of time as well. So for example, Australian Super's balanced option has an average return of 9.32%. So if we apply that average return over the 4 years, this is the additional amount of money that you've earned on top of that you can also withdraw as well. Now in reality, it's a much more complicated calculation because you're obviously making contributions on a monthly basis, but this should give you an idea of how it all works. Now, if you want to ensure that you're getting the best returns from your superannuation, make sure to check out this video up here that talks about the top 5 best super funds that you can join right now. I'll leave links down in the description as well. Now, it's also important to note that when you do actually eventually withdraw your funds, you're actually going to be taxed a second time as well. The total amount will be subject to your marginal tax rate minus a 30% tax offset. Meaning if your marginal tax rate was 37%, then you're going to be taxed at 7% for that total amount. So that's all I've got for you guys in today's video. If you learned something new, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Thank you all for watching this video. If you're this far in the video, you guys are all awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next video.